This episode of the Team Never Quit podcast is brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal celebrates veterans of all branches and their families on Veterans Day and every day of the year. If you want to learn more about how they can help you, go visit NavyFederal.org. This episode is brought to you by Tractor Supply's Hometown Heroes program. Go check out all their benefits, including special discounts on hero holidays at tractorsupply.com/hometownheroes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Team Never Quit podcast. As always, thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button wherever you're getting this show. So today, before we get into our really special guests, let's do what we always do and get to our Patreon question of the week. And this week we've got, if the Navy SEALs were to have a mascot other than the Trident, what do you think that would be?
We got them.
Yeah.
We already have them.
Yeah, we have two.
Freddy the Frog. We got two of them, actually.
Yeah.
Freddy the Frog and Sammy the Seal.
That's right.
What about something else?
Like if you were to make one
If you were to make up a mascot.
You have to be a hot chick, right? We can go all day on that one, right?
Or it'd be maybe a Wolverine. That'd be a great example of us as a mascot. Like a badass, feisty
Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
So
The Phantom.
we're going.
Talk about the Phantom. I guess it'd have to be the Phantom.
I like it. Done.
Yeah. Easy question.
Yep.
Easy. That's. Man, I just put some
We
thought
did a
in it.
whole thing about the Phantom that calls into buds. Did you have that?
No.
Oh yeah, you did.
The Phantom that calls into
The
butts?
quarterdeck. Did you ever do quarterdeck watch?
Yeah.
And the Phantom never called you.
No.
Not once.
The girl that calls in that's like the phone sex
phone sex
girl?
chick.
I don't
Bro, how
remember
did you
that.
get
Yeah.
through there with that? Man, you know what?
I went through a couple of, maybe that happened afterwards.
No,
I mean,
this
the guy
was-
saying that went all
This
the way
has
back.
happened since all the
This
way
has been
back and it's still
happening
going
since
on.
way before you.
I don't remember that.
You know what? That blast you took, man.
I was going to say I did get shot in the head,
got
so
shot
I
in the
do
face,
have
so-
I do have a TBI on my record, but because I would have tried to date her. There's no doubt about it.
We all-
as a young single
Yeah.
dude, I would have been like, "How you doing,
Bro, let's meet up behind
Yeah,
Burn.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, guys, we'll
Hey,
go through
this
the
is my room, and so can I see you there?" Like I would have definitely been doing it.
Really?
Would
Man,
have
you were an
been
officer,
just my
though,
luck.
dude.
It would have been like some dumbass bud student, like these people doing these scams where they act like they're women, but they're from Nigeria and
Well,
they're
a lot-
taking money
We
from
kind
people.
of think that it
A lot
might
of
be a
people
man.
think that.
Yeah.
The voice is on point.
Yeah.
And I mean, she can talk it up. Like, she's good.
I
Like,
heard her.
So it's continued for how long?
Bro, it's still going on, and I was
Decades,
20 years ago.
So
and it was there
it's probably a 70-year-old man.
Okay, so here's what happened. We were at the Dell the other day staying the night,
It was, yeah.
and she called my room. She found out I was in town, called my room. Immediately when the voice, it hadn't changed a bit. Like, I recognized it.
I feel like I missed out. I feel like I was
definitely
not
missed
lucky
out.
enough.
Because you're an
for this.
officer. That's what it was, man.
I was a knuckle dragging enlisted guy when I went through.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I was an E2. So,
E2. That's a lot
E2,
of rank
baby.
right there,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. I'm going to be back out there soon. I won't say when. I'll just say
I think she
sometime
might-
in the
she
near
may listen to
future.
this.
Sometime in the near future is our 30-year, but it's my 30-year Buds reunion coming up soon.
30
And I will,
years.
Can you believe that?
What's your buzz class?
202 is what I graduated. I did Hell Week with 200 and graduated with 202.
What was that like being 200?
Amazing. I wanted to graduate with it, to be a
Most
part
of
of the
us,
bicentennial class,
yeah.
but I injured myself, and that's how I rolled out. I double rolled.
All right, let's back up. When did you go into? How did you find out about SEAL training? What got you sparked up about being a team guy?
My dad was an Army Airborne instructor and a rigger.
Really?
Working in Fort Campbell, Kentucky
Wow, okay.
in the 60s. And just like we did before it changed, SEALs went through Army Airborne School.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
my dad knew that I was interested in special operations, and I was a pretty good swimmer. And my dad said, "Hey, there are these guys called SEALs." I went through airborne school with them, He said their training is regarded as some of the hardest in the world. If you want to test yourself or you really want to go, do something like that, he said you should check these guys out. And there wasn't any information about him back then.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah. I'll be honest, there was a guy in our church who was, he had polio when he was a kid, so he couldn't join the military, but he became like this massive military aficionado and especially huge into special operations. And he had accumulated stuff like different magazines and things he had found out about the SEAL teams, and he shared a lot with me. And the very first book I bought about the SEAL teams, I was in a truck store in where I lived in nowhere, Lumberton, North Carolina, and a little truck stop next to 95. And there was a case of books you could buy for $1 or something. And I looked there, and there was a book, UDT SEAL Operations in Vietnam, and by an author by the name of T.L. I couldn't pronounce his name at all. Boseljevic is what I called him for years. And that was the very first SEAL book I ever bought. Fast forward 4 years later, I checked into SEAL Team 4. My commanding officer was a guy by the name of Tim Basilovac, is how you pronounced it. And that was his college thesis.
Really?
Yeah, and that's how, but that was the first book I ever read. And all it was a historical accounting of SEAL ops in Vietnam. And I ate it up, man, learning all about it.
Absolutely. Probably read that thing more times than you can.
Yeah, loved it, man. It was all dog-eared.
I remember those days.
Yep.
Just read look at the same picture.
Yeah.
I remember that. So would you go walk up to the recruiter and said, I want to be a SEAL?
I did. I walked to the recruiter, and I walked in, probably 15 years old, and and unlike you, I wasn't quite the strapping lad I am today. I was about 95 pounds and 5 foot tall at 15. And that recruiter, who was an old crusty boatswain's mate, and he took one look at me and was like, you are not what the SEALs are looking for. Don't waste my time. And he chased me out of the recruit office. And I would come back, and he would chase me out of there. And finally, I was like, well, screw you. And I almost went and joined the Army. True story. I almost started down the path to enlist in the Army. Went to MEPS, and I failed the airborne physical because when I was a kid, I had ruptured my eardrum. And they didn't even check. They just looked in and saw scar tissue and said, oh, you're not going to be able to jump, which is probably the best thing that ever could have happened, because I went and got an ENT to say, hey, this guy's good to go, which I knew. And by the time I came back, there was a new recruiter at the Navy. I was coming back to go to the Army to be like, hey, I can go in. And there was a new guy, Henry Horn was his name, Petty Officer Henry Horn. He said, hey, man, he said, I know who you are. And I said, you do? And he said, you're that young kid that wants to be a SEAL. He said, that old recruiter's no longer here. He said, if you want to be a SEAL, I'll help you. I said, all right. And I came in, and he said, we got this cool SEAL video. And I said, you do? And he sat me down, and I watched that Be Someone Special. Remember the super cheesy 80s video with
the best.
Yeah, it was. It was so
best,
good.
Dude.
On the helicopter with the Uzis.
Yeah.
And I ate it up, man. And I would come back every couple of weeks, and Henry would be like, "Want me to put the video on?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And
Dude,
like a VHS.
Yeah. Total VHS.
Freaking.
Yeah. It might have been Mel. It might have been Beta.
Yeah, I was recruiting office. Could have been Beta.
Yeah.
What year is this?
This would have been 1990,
Okay.
maybe even 89. Yeah, I was 15, maybe even 89. And
Dude,
but I kept coming
those
back
videos.
over those couple of years. Probably 90 because I had, it's probably 91 because I had already started to do the Army thing. And I enlisted in my senior year in 92.
Okay.
So September 11th, 92 is when I enlisted.
Did they have the delayed
Can you
entry?
believe that? That is the day I signed my paperwork.
What was it?
September 11, 1992 is the
No
day I
shit.
joined the Navy.
Good for you, man.
Yep.
Did they have that delayed entry program?
Yep, that's what I did.
I remember when I got that delayed entry program ID, I thought I was the baddest thing walking
I know.
around, dude. Like I thought I was full-blown
I was
military.
like, I'm already in the Navy, as a senior in high
Look at
school.
this ID.
Yeah. And, so I owe my career to Henry Horn. I actually, pretty cool. I had not been able to track him down for many years. I've managed to track down a lot of people that have helped me along the way. And a couple of years ago when I did the Sean Ryan show, I told that similar story.
You have fun on Sean's show?
What's that?
You like that?
Yeah,
Great dude.
Yeah. Well, and it's an awesome show because
Yeah,
you
he's
get, so often you got to skip over parts of your story or you don't. And
Sean
on
puts you
his
through the
show-
ringer.
Oh, And you cover it all.
He's a CIA interrogator by freaking trade, bro, right?
And it's good, man. It's just, you get so deep
Yeah.
into everything. And we hit on the Henry Horn thing. And I said, yeah, I've never been able to find this guy. I've tried to find him. And a guy wrote me after the show and said, hey, I know Henry Horn. And he connected me to him. And I went down and he lived in North Carolina. He retired a chief. And I got to go meet him in person. I gave him a signed copy of my
How's he
book
doing?
and thank him. He's good, man. He's good. He's doing well. He, focused on family. I forget what business he's in now, but he got out and started his own business. And
Tell him I blame you for all my scars.
I said it's your fault.
It's your
you see
fault,
what
right?
happens to me? If I hadn't joined the
'Cause I
Navy,
blame
none
my
of this
recruiter,
would have
too.
happened.
Yeah.
I carry a lot of bitterness. Nah, man.
Thank you.
Gave him a big hug and
Yeah.
just said, man, I never would have done this if it wasn't for you. Like, you believing in me and helping me. Like, so it was cool.
That's awesome, bro. Good for you, man. All right, so we 202. Shit, man, I didn't realize you were that far ahead of me. Like, I'm a new guy to him.
Well, it's getting weird. I won't lie. It is. I mean, 30 years. We're coming up on 30 years.
man.
So I'm starting to go to events where I'm like more of the senior guy. And I'm like,
about
how in
that?
the hell did that happen?
Can you believe that?
No, I don't.
And we're
I still see
wartimers, too.
myself
It's like
as
running
that.
around with Vietnam dudes, man.
Well, yeah, we're starting to lose so many of those guys, which is crazy.
They're the best.
I'll be honest. Amazing story. So going further back in the World War II guys. So in the muster that they do down in Fort Pierce, Florida, has been
museum.
going on forever, and that's where all the World War II guys would go. So the East Coast SEAL teams would always provide a platoon of guys to go down there and to do the demo every year. So in 97 or 98, our platoon that I was in our pro dev cycle, and they said, hey, you guys are going to go down and do the Fort Pierce muster. And I'm like, well, this is cool. I get a free trip to Florida and I get to go check out the museum. So we went down there and we got to do the demo. But the coolest part is, I mean, in 97, 98, we still had like 30, 40 World War II vets, at least that many, maybe even 50. And I remember meeting these guys and they're telling stories about crossing the beaches on Normandy, on D-Day. And I mean, I'm just this young pup, man, and just eating it up. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And Draper Kaufman, I don't remember if you remember the name, Dr. Lambertson, Christian Lambertson, he helped develop the Draeger and a lot of our underwater diving systems. So they were giving him an award at the muster that year. And the guy was like 90, 95 years old. And all of us take a picture with him. And we're standing there, and it's RCO. It's the head of SOCOM at that time, who was Air Force General, and our platoon, and we're all around him. And Dr. Lambertson, we're getting ready to take the picture, and Dr. Lambertson starts singing this song. And it's the most sordid. It's like Lupe. Remember Lupe?
Yeah. Okay.
It's along those lines. It's like super sordid and dirty. And they snap the picture right as all of us are cracking up. And this old man's just singing away. And I was just like, it's awesome. Like, he's no different than us.
Yeah.
Like, this guy was there. So it was really cool.
They're the
And
best,
to
man.
see those guys.
When you can just sit with them and fetch beers and just sit and listen to them talk about stuff. But they don't even know you're there. They just start doing their thing.
Yep.
That's the best, man.
Yep. It was pretty cool.
So were your first command?
SEAL Team 4.
Okay.
Yep. So I got assigned when I graduated. I went through A school. I did ISA school, and that was there in Virginia Beach. And Buds was backed up for some reason, so I got sent over to Group 2, and I worked at Group 2 for almost a year. And while I was at Group 2, they kicked me over to SEAL Team 4 to work over there for a while. So it was cool. I got to
Just got picked up.
yeah, I got to do stuff. I worked some operational readiness and different things, and got to meet a lot of different guys who now are, I ended up working with later in my career, and spend time and learn about the SEAL teams and do things. I was supposed to class up, class 197, and 3 weeks before going to Buds, I wrecked my motorcycle and broke my shoulder. So that rolled me 3 classes. And then I started Buds in January of 95.
What was the hardest part of Buds for you?
I mean, I'll be honest. I did not. I knew Buds was going to be hard. There was no part of me that had any. So none of it really shocked me. I questioned myself and almost thought about quitting at one point during Hell Week, and it really was my own fault. I had friends that had been through Hell Week that already, and one of them gave me the advice of, "Hey man, just make it to Wednesday morning and it gets easier." And so I kind of had wrapped my head around that and made it to Wednesday morning. I'm like, oh man, I made it to Wednesday morning. You know, it'll be downhill from here. And Thursday night was our hardest night of Hell Week for me. I was in the Smurf crew.
Around the world?
We were, no, it was, we had done, it was after Around the World, and we came back and we started doing these beach races, and we kept losing every race. The Smurf crew, I don't know what our problem was, but we just kept losing. So we kept getting our ass kicked. We went to the pool after that, and the temp had dropped. I went through Hell Week, I think in March of 95, and the temp dropped down into the 40s that night. So it was cold. And we kept losing a race, and we kept getting punished. And I remember at one point our punishment was go stand on top of the dive tower, and the wind's howling.
Yeah, wind, yeah.
And I remember just standing there jackhammering. I'm a skinny little runt, man. I think I lost about 15 pounds during Hell Week. So I'm down to about, I don't know, 125 pounds. My Hell Week photo looks like I graduated. I'm coming out of Auschwitz or something.
Yeah, like a concentration camp.
Yeah. And I'm just jackhammering up there on top of that platform. I remember looking down at that bell, and I was like, man, I'm done with this. And I was ready to climb down and go ring it. And my buddy was like, what are you doing, bro? Like, snap out of it. Like, you go ring that bell. That's the end of this journey. So he snapped me out of it, and, you know, I got
It only
back,
takes a
finished
second.
Man, it's
It
dangerous.
only takes a second, yeah.
Dangerous. So, but thankfully, you know, if you keep your eye on the prize and you know, like, hey, we all got to do this. We all got to endure. You don't ring that bell, period.
Yeah.
And he snapped me out of it. And that was really the only hard point. The only other hard point I had was pool comp.
Yeah, kick my ass too.
Yeah, it took me.
I was 4 times too.
Same here. Yep.
I was on that weeping wall.
Oh, yep. And I don't know about you. I had to wait all weekend to retest.
That sucked. Me too. Because the other guys had graduated and
That's
passed
right.
it, and they were going out partying and eating lunch and great dinner, and you got that misery on you.
Yep. I sat in my room all weekend doing breath holds.
Same here.
That's all I did.
Oh, dude.
Holding my breath till I about pass out, and then
Yeah.
you get up and do it again.
Just practice.
Although I felt like a champ on Monday. I increased my breath holding by almost a minute by the
Yeah.
time I retested Monday.
I was so scared.
Yep.
I didn't want to go out because of that.
No.
I remember doing the same thing. Just the feeling of dread going through the weekend like because you didn't pass. And Monday morning, you wanted to get your ass kicked anyways.
Yep.
I was down for 45 minutes
Yeah.
before he gave me a whammy. Calvin.
I don't know. Well, it's been years later. but
Instructor
yeah.
Calvin. I did an
No
deployment
joke.
with him, though. It was awesome afterwards.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. It is funny how you would go through buds and then you'd end up doing
I
platoons.
called him
with
Instructor
these-
Calvin when I saw him.
Yeah.
I think I still call him that.
My second class, my second phase proctor, I ended up doing 2 platoons with.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, so let's jump forward to when the war. Where were you at when 9/11 bumped off?
I was in college. I had just been picked up for Seaman Admiral, and
Where'd you go to school?
Old Dominion.
Good for you,
Yeah,
man.
right there in Norfolk. So, and it was great because Eric and I met. I had done 3.5 deployments, and then I became a training instructor, and then I got picked up for Seaman Admiral. And Eric and I met while I was an instructor in Fort Knox, Kentucky. And we got married right as I left SEAL Team 4, and then I was starting school. So I had 3 years to get my degree, and Eric and I had 3 years together. Well, fast forward only, 3 months. I checked out the team in June. We got married the very beginning of July, and I started school the end of July. And 9/11 happened right after that.
So let me ask you a question about Seaman Admiral. If you give a guy, cause it's a great program, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
if you had one piece of advice to give somebody looking to do that, what would it be?
The advice I would give to somebody looking at Seaman Admiral?
Yeah, looking to do that, to cross over.
So The question is, what do you want to do? So first off, man, that's a deep and layered question, because I meet a lot of young kids who are interested in either being a SEAL or an officer. If you already have your degree, I often encourage guys, I ask guys, what do you want to be more, a SEAL or an officer? Because you want to be a SEAL more, come in as an enlisted guy, learn, later put in a package, and you can go through OCS. And I said, and you can also decide along your path. There are way more operational opportunities for enlisted SEALs than there are for officers.
Absolutely.
And I learned that after I was wounded, because there were programs I wanted to get into after I was wounded that they were like,
It's set up for us.
yeah, we love it. We love you, bro. But guess what?
Yeah.
That's an enlisted guy program. You
Best
know,
part about the SEALs, it's set up for us, man.
Yep. It is. It is built around, and it should be.
Yeah.
Our operators at the heart and soul. I mean, you know, it's that relationship between the chief and the officer, but the officer's looking external, and externally and internally, that should be, you know, the chiefs and the operators running that. So that's what I tell guys. Seaman Admiral is a little bit different. It's as you're moving along in your career, if you're an enlisted guy and you're thinking about becoming an officer and you've already done the SEAL thing, you've already been a SEAL for a while,
Yeah.
and that's the path you want to go down, 100%. It's an amazing opportunity where the Navy will put you through school and you come back and you're an officer now to be able to go down that path. But I just tell them, make sure you've decided you've accomplished all the things you wanted to do as an enlisted guy, because when you become an officer, you're still going to be operational for a period of time, but that window will close, and now it's your job to manage and lead, and not in necessarily an operational capacity.
So why the difference? Like, why would someone choose the Seaman Admiral over OCS?
So Seaman or Admiral, you don't have a degree. I did not have a degree. I had not been to college. I came straight out of high school. I graduated high school and I came in the Navy. So Seaman Admiral takes individuals who don't have a degree.
Got it.
They send them to school. It's an accelerated program, so you have 3 years to get your degree. Some guys might have already had a little bit of college, so it's a little shorter. And then you're part of the ROTC program, and you commission out of that ROTC program, and then you come back as a SEAL officer or as an officer, depending on what you're going
Will they send you to the academy?
No.
not an academy,
That'd be a
right?
different program.
It's a different program?
It's pretty rare. It's hard to get picked up as an enlisted guy to go to the academy. It does happen.
That happened to one of my guys.
Yeah. I'm wondering if I remember.
What was his name? It was early too, PTR. Like we
Yeah.
had just phased up and he got snatched up.
Yeah.
And he came back. I ran into it, yeah.
Yeah, they do it.
When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My energy, focus, mood, all of it. And that's why I love using Drip Drop, because it's not just about thirst, it's about keeping your body and your mind running at full power. Drip Drop was developed by a doctor, and it gives you 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugars of other leading sports drinks. The formula absorbs fast, so you feel it right away. That's better focus, more energy, and no crash. It's trusted by firefighters, medical pros, and over 90% of the top college and pro teams because it just flat out works. And it tastes so great. My favorite is definitely the lemon flavor. It's clean, it's not too sweet, and it's easy to mix into my day, whether I'm traveling, working out, or recording the show. So right now, Drip Drop is offering our listeners 20% off of your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use the promo code TNQ. That is dripdrop.com with the promo code TNQ, and you'll get that 20% off. Stay sharp, stay hydrated, and get your Drip Drop.
And then the other option, Mel, is if you already have a degree, you can put in for to get picked up for a commission, and then they'll send you to OCS. So knife and fork school, you go, 12 weeks,
Morgan
14
did.
weeks.
That's what Morgan
Yeah, my
did.
brother. Morgan.
Okay, yeah.
Scobell got picked up for the academy.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
How about that?
Yeah, that's funny.
And
I would. It's funny the guys who came from the academy that don't act like academy guys.
They're the best.
Yeah. So
Our academy officers, man, when you see the inside of them, it's awesome. Because
Yeah.
they train them a certain way, but every now and again it'll break through.
yeah, Mark McGinnis was like that. Great dude from SEAL Team 4. That I remember when he told me he was an Academy grad, I was like, what?
Say again.
Yeah.
Say again.
Yeah.
That's
So
funny. Okay. So 9/11, you're at school.
yeah, and all of us remember where we were, but it really meaningful for me. I think a lot about it because at SEAL Team 4, when I was going through, the Seaman Admiral program at that time only had 50 slots. It's kind of expanded. They merged some programs together today, but back then only 50 slots is who got picked up in the Navy. And there were two of us competing for that slot, Bobby Ramirez and myself. And Bobby and I had kind of grown up together in the SEAL teams. He got to the SEAL team about a year after I did. We ended up becoming friends. We were in training together, and then we were competing for that Seaman Admiral slot. And it was just constant shit talking. Like, hey, Red, someday when you're my platoon chief, and it would be stuff like that. And then I'd bust on him and be like, Bobby, you'll never be my platoon chief. You'll never make higher than, E6. So it was this running banter and joke, and we didn't know what was going to happen. Well, both of us got picked up. Like 2 out of the 50 came from SEAL Team 4. So we went to school together. We hung out together. We went to classes together. And Bobby and I was meeting him. We had both had our first morning classes. And I remember going to the student center, and we linked up. I got a cup of coffee, and the young kid behind the counter's like nervous, and he's handing me my coffee, and he's like, "World's coming to an end, man." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Haven't you heard?" He's like, a plane crashed into the World Trade Center, and the Pentagon's on fire. That's what he told me. That's the first thing I heard about it. And I'm like, "That's weird." And I turned to Bobby, and I said, "Hey, man, something's going on." And he said, "Well, let's go check out the TV." We went around the corner to the news in the student center, and they had a big TV, and he and I stood there and watched the whole thing unfold. We watched the plane hit the second tower live. We watched the towers collapse. And I remember we looked at each other and we're like, we're going to war, man. Went 2 days later on September 13th, which amazing is the day I was wounded. How prophetic and crazy is life with this. Went back to the team, and our CO at the time, I went back and I said, "Hey, sir, I want out of this program. I know you guys are going to war. Like, I want to join. I want to be with you guys when this happens." And very prophetically, he looked at me and he said, "Red, listen to me." He said, "This war will go on for decades." He said, "Go back to school." He said, "Finish. I guarantee you will get your chance." He said, "We're going to need good leaders, and you need to go back and you need to come back and,
Who's that?
Lead." PVH.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, he's great. Great freaking man.
Oh,
Dude,
I would follow him anywhere.
Anywhere.
I normally don't put his name out there.
that's fine.
I
I
changed
know exactly
his name
who
in
you're
my
talking
books,
about.
but a legend. And he saved
Everybody knows him.
He saved my career later. When I got myself in trouble. He saved my career.
Dude, I was in trouble all the time. I'm sure he saved me millions of times.
He saved a lot of guys.
Oh, dude.
I saw him save several people over his career. Probably one of the best leaders ever I worked for.
All right, so when you get out of school, what team?
I went to SEAL Team 10. I was supposed to go to SDV Team 1. So originally I was going to go to SDV Team 1. Eric and I were prepared. And originally that was the plan. If you served as a East Coast guy, as an enlisted guy, they sent you to the opposite coast as an officer. And hindsight being 2020, I kind of wish that had happened because
Probably would have been with me.
well, and it would have been better for me because unfortunately what happened is at the last minute they said, "Hey, we need officers at Team 10."
They were just standing that up.
Yeah, so they said, why don't we send you to Team 10? And Eric and I were like, well, hey, we get to stay on the East Coast. This will be great. But the problem was I had guys in my platoon that I was friends with and knew. And I came as a new officer and carried too much of my E6, had too many friends. We would play hard, but then I was going out and partying too hard with the boys. And it was starting to hurt my reputation. And anyways, made a series.
That's why they make us switch coasts.
And I should have. There were two things that we should have done. They didn't make us back then go to SQT. They talked to us about it, but 3 years we'd been out operational, and everything had changed since we left. Since 9/11, probably the biggest rewrite we had ever seen in tactics happened as guys were coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. So
remember that?
Oh,
man,
huge,
crazy days.
Because when I rolled back into training with Team 10, here I am thinking, I've done 4 platoons. I was an instructor. Like I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be King Dingaling. And I was like, holy smokes, everything's different.
Yeah.
Like everything's different. And I was stepping on my toes, drinking too much at night. So all of this was kind of hurting me. And instead of stepping back and being like, you need to get shit together, I didn't. I kind of stepped on my toes, and all of that culminated. We deployed to Afghanistan. Our troop was the Red Wings troop. So Echo platoon was my sister platoon. So Eric was my troop commander. Mike McGree. I was originally in Echo, and they moved me over to Foxtrot after a couple of months.
That's too bad, dude, because that was a badass setup, man. All them guys.
I loved it. Well, Mike McGreevy came to my house. I'd known Mike at 4, and him and Carl came to my house and said, "Hey, man, we want you to be our AOIC." And I was like, "Dude, I'm so honored. It's amazing. Let's go."
You know how I wound up over there? Christensen.
Yeah.
I'd call him. I'd be like, "Bro, please, you need a good medic." He's like, "I got one." I'm like, "You need another one?" Come on, man.
You can never have too many.
Never have too many.
Yeah,
Come on, please.
Yeah.
I
Snipers and medics, you were both.
Jumped the chain of command totally and went straight to him. I was like, "Bro, you need me. Come on."
Yeah.
And that's how I went about there.
That's why Eric was great, man. What a good dude. So they moved me. I look back on that now and I'm like, man, you know what? God works in mysterious ways. Who knows? If I'd been in that platoon, I could have been on that helicopter. So,
so where were you during Red Wing?
So we were in Germany. So we were split, and we were set up to rotate into Afghanistan, literally like within those next couple of weeks. So Red Wings was one of the final missions that you guys were doing, and we were already jocking up and packing up to head to Afghanistan when we got the word that everything that had happened, that the helicopter had been shot down. I remember we were in the troop space together, and we were all just trying to figure out what was going on. I remember going up to the JOC and trying to, or to our talk there in Germany. And that was when we found out that, I think it was at that point we found out that your, I don't know how much of this is still,
That's fine.
Like your radio pinged. Is that out there now?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. So that was the first time we knew. But then the question was, were you really alive? Did the enemy happen to get a hold of it?
That was a big deal, because every time those pings would come up, because then they had the rest of the radios and they would start doing those ghost pings, and that was
so all of that, we were there. So over the next several days, we were trying, and then we found out, pretty quickly thereafter that what had happened, because it was still. We had heard the helicopter was shot down, but we didn't have any word on had anybody survived. And by then we knew that no one had survived. But then we found out that you had pinged. Several members of our platoon went ahead and launched. Our chief and a couple of guys launched, and we were packing up to finish to get ready to roll. And we just didn't know when it was going to be. So,
because I didn't know about the helo.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea until y'all got me a week later. Actually, they told me that some of the Taliban told me in the village, but I was like,
you felt like it was bullshit.
Whatever.
Yeah. No, we knew. I think within 48 hours, they had confirmed to us that we had lost everybody. And we were still holding out hope for you. And a couple days later, that's when you had been recovered. And we also knew that Danny and Mike Murphy had been recovered, and you guys all kind of came back.
They were
on
missing
that
Axe.
Yeah, Axe was still. They were still
for a while.
Way. Yeah, because what happened is we came up the launch stool. Me and a couple other guys, Mark Weiss, who's no longer with us. We came up the launch stool, and that's actually the first time I met you, and we stood watch. We relieved the guys who were standing the watch for Mike Murphy and Danny Dietz on the honor flight back.
Yeah.
So we relieved them for a period of time. We met you, I think, the following day with a couple of the Echo guys that were there. Yeah. And then
Dell and...
yeah, it was Dell.
Yeah, Dell.
Yeah. And then Dell just retired.
I know.
Yeah, crazy.
How about that?
Crazy. We're all getting old. But
he's a great human being, by the way.
I love Dell. Yeah,
He's a really good
I've
guy.
always I worked with Dell years ago at SEAL Team 4.
Best freaking dude. He'd lay in there in the hospital with me.
Yeah,
They stuck me in that pediatric ward over in the confined area. And I remember the doc when I came to, they knocked me out. And when I came to, he was like, this. He was talking to me, yeah, we kept Jessica Lynch here. He's got all kinds of people in here. And I was like, that's great news. And I look over and they moved the bed
I guess
in
that's
there.
good.
Yeah. They moved the bed in for Dell. And he had to stick with me. Like swim buddied, right? He got assigned by the skipper. It's like, don't leave his side. He didn't.
Yeah. Same thing. When I was medevac, man, I had dudes who just stayed with, which is awesome, man. Because they take care of you.
They do.
Unlike.
So let's talk about that, man. Where were you at when you got hurt?
Iraq. So end of the deployment. We were going after a high-level Al-Qaeda leader, a guy we'd been trying to track all deployment. And make a long story short, we walked into a very well-executed ambush. Myself, we had gotten separated. A couple of our new guys and our EOD guy got separated in some really dense vegetation, so we were kind of trying to reconstitute. We knew there was enemy in between us. The gunship was vectoring us, and we were trying to reconstitute and then push back in to wrap these guys up. We thought they were just hiding. The snipers had seen them run across the street and run into that vegetation. So when we were coming back around, what we didn't know is they were the last part of this ambush line that we estimate to be 12 to 14 individuals and 2 PKM machine guns.
Oh, wow.
So we walked into it. Luke Fenner and Maddie were kind of the last guys that stepped out of the vegetation. And I was out front with our interpreter. Our new guys and the EOD guy were probably 100 yards away, and we were kind of moving back to link up with them. And then behind me was Jay Aliassen, my team lead. I can say all the names now because everybody's out.
Yeah.
So Jay was my team lead, and then we had DJ Shipley.
Great freaking human being.
And Matty Roberts.
Him too.
Yeah. So all these dudes, just pipe hitters, man. And Luke Fenner, who was our medic, and Matty stepped on an enemy fighter. And the guy tried to roll over, and they engaged him, and that triggered the ambush. So I was out front. I was further down at this point, and both guns kind of turned. Luke was initially shot. Matty grabbed onto him, started dragging him back.
He got shot.
And Matty got shot 3 times. I was out front trying to lay down fire when I got caught across the body armor and took rounds in the arm, which I thought shot my arm off. Rounds off the helmet, side plate, gun, turned to move back to where those guys were. Everybody fell back. DJ fell behind a tree, and the rest of the guys fell behind this tractor tire, which was about 15 yards behind me.
There's a video of that.
It's on the In Waves and War.
Yeah.
It's depicted. There's
they have some of that ISR footage. Yeah.
It's intense.
So so I turned to move back to them and caught a round in the face. Machine gun round caught me right in front of the ear, and so knocked me out. And the guys saw me fall, so they initially thought I was dead. Unconscious for probably 5 to 10 minutes. We don't know. The gunfight lasted about 40 minutes. Guys did an amazing job continuing to fight. We ended up calling in our team lead, Jay, who kind of took over and coordinated everything, called in the closest fire mission ever executed in the Iraq War, called rounds directly on our position. We were so extreme danger close, the gunship turned it down the first 2 times and said, we're going to kill you guys. And they said, you've got to figure out a way to move back. And Jay said, hey, look, there's no way. We're running. I got guys bleeding out and dying, and we're going to run out of ammo. I mean, at this point, it had been 25, 30 minutes. Yeah. So finally called in those fire missions. Jay ran forward and got me and pulled me back to the tire. And at that point, they got a tourniquet on my arm, packed my face, continued to fight until we neutralized all these guys. And then we called in that medevac.
Were you able to talk?
No.
That helo land on top of you guys to get you out of there?
Landed about 75 yards away from what I remember. So Jay started to drag me, and I'll be honest, I don't remember feeling any pain after I got shot in the face. I feel like it was kind of a little bit out of world experience. But as soon as he started to drag me, I felt like I felt all the pain at once. And I was
okay.
I was like, stop dragging me. I was like, help me get up. And he helped me to my feet. And you know, I told him, I thought my arm had been shot off. And for some reason, I took my helmet off in the fight. So I was like, true story. I said, grab my arm and grab my helmet. And I said, I'm going to the helicopter. Yeah. And I'll never, you know, you have these moments that you remember, I'm sure you do too, that are just seared into your memory. And one of those moments, walking to the helicopter, was walking and I'm hunched over and I was literally watching the blood fall out of my face.
Yeah. The smell, you can remember all that.
Yeah, I remember I have this searing image grabbing the handle of the helicopter. You know that metal handle right next to the door gunner as you're getting in the 60? I remember grabbing onto that and my hands all coated in blood. I
high-fived the co-pilot's window.
Nice.
And I'll never forget that.
Yeah, so it's funny, just these things that stick in your mind.
'Cause he gave it back.
I love that.
Yeah, when they were transporting me.
Yeah. Well, they loaded me in. They loaded me and DJ and Maddie. And then, I'm sorry, they loaded Maddie and Luke and me. And they pushed me up against the far side door next to the door gunner. They had me sitting up and they had Luke and Maddie laid out because they both had leg injuries. And DJ got in with us and they couldn't shut the doors because it wasn't configured. There were too many of us the way it was configured, but they flew to Baghdad. So years later, I met the guys who did that medevac and got to thank them in person. And they told me, like, there are things you don't remember, or at least there were things I didn't remember. I was drifting in and out of consciousness, but they said that they said one, they didn't know we survived when they landed and dropped us off. You know, they didn't. You know, they flew all kinds of medevacs, and they didn't know if we survived or not. They didn't know our names or anything. They just knew we were SEALs, and that was it. But they remember the night because they said that flying with the doors open, and they flew the rotors off to get us off to Baghdad because it had been at least 45 minutes. So we were nearing the end of the golden hour, and we were outside of Fallujah, and they flew to Baghdad. But they said we were all bleeding so bad. I mean, I'm shot 3 times, Maddie's 3 times, Luke almost had his leg severed, and it created this mist in the helicopter of blood. And they said the entire inside of the helicopter was just coated in blood.
Oh.
And
it's a great story now.
It took them weeks to like clean it out and clean all the stuff. And they said, yeah, it was a constant reminder. We didn't know if you guys had survived or not. So it was cool to meet them. They were 160th crew.
Yeah, of course.
And it was cool to meet them later and just thank them and say, hey, man, I appreciate you guys.
How much recovery time?
It would take 4 years and 40 surgeries. So to put me back together.
What kept you going through that?
You know, I'll be honest, man, God works in mysterious ways. I tell people this, be thankful for the hardships you have in life and for the hard things that happen, because I think they set you up for success in other things. Me failing as a leader was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to come back from. To be told, hey, we don't trust you as a leader, as an operator, that was the biggest blow I've ever had. And I'm thankful that I had some leadership that believed in me and encouraged me to stay and to rebuild my reputation and credibility. But that road was hard, man. It took years to build that back. But I'll be honest, when I was wounded, I was like, you know what, this sucks, but you just finished the hardest road you've ever walked. You know, the deepest hole you've ever climbed out of, you've already did. This is no different, man. I created frameworks when I was wounded. I created frameworks when I messed up as a leader, different, you know, lead yourself, lead others, lead always. These different principles that I created to try and rebuild myself as a leader and ways to follow. And in the hospital, I was like, hey, this is no different, man. This is no different. Like you've talked all these things. Well, guess what? You're about to be pushed to the ultimate leadership test, you know? So guess what? You know, you talk about leading yourself, leading others, leading always. Let's go. And I won't lie. I mean, probably took about a week for it all to sink in and absorb. And it was kind of the sign on the door was the launch point for that. Mm-hmm. But I kind of didn't look back, and just every surgery. I told Erica, I wrote her at one point, I said, hey, this is no different than like medical buds. You know, it's one surgery to the next surgery, and we recover and we rebuild, and then we go to the next one, and we just keep building on these.
That's awesome, brother.
How long have y'all been married?
We have been married 24 years, together 26.
Dang.
Yeah. She's a rock star.
You rotate out of the teams and you start speaking.
Yeah.
Who got you into that?
It happened a little bit organically. I'm sure same for you.
Yeah.
People started reaching out and saying, hey, will you come tell your story? But it happened in the military. The sign on the door got...
That thing went viral.
It did. And it went viral, especially within the military. I mean, even nationally it went viral, but it went viral heavily in the military. So what happened is a lot of units were like, hey, would you be willing to come tell your story? So I started doing that, and that led me to, then I got invited to go speak for some military nonprofits. There were obviously corporate sponsors.
You still have that thing?
No.
Because Morgan and I were going to try and steal it.
Well, you know, all you have to do is ask me, and I'll give you a nice
Yeah, but what's the fun in that, man? I mean, the whole hallway.
Well, you would have to steal it from Walter Reed.
I know.
Yeah. Well, that's where it's at. So, yeah, President Bush signed it, and we had it framed, and it's dedicated, and it hangs in the Wounded Ward at Walter Reed now. So it's pretty neat. I can't tell you how many Wounded Warriors have written me and said, hey,
No, it's powerful, dude.
I can't tell you how much your sign meant to me. And even more, millions of people, well, millions maybe a stretch, hundreds of thousands of people at this point.
It's probably more than that now.
I have
For those of you who don't know, we're talking about when he was in the hospital, he wrote on his orange piece of paper.
Yeah, bright orange
Like
piece of
post-
paper.
Right.
Yeah.
And wrote this letter out on it saying, don't come in here feeling sorry for me. And there was this whole long thing.
I will overcome.
Yeah, it was tacked on the door. And, God, there's a bunch of us in there, man.
Yeah.
What year was that?
2007. Yep.
Every town's got that one place where all the people just come together, where you can grab what you need, run into someone you know, or even just chatting it up with the staff before you get to checkout. For us, that's definitely Tractor Supply. That's what I love about it so much, because it's more than a store, it's a community. And Tractor Supply takes that same spirit and puts it right into their Hometown Heroes program, honoring the men and women who serve, our veterans, active duty military, first responders, and the families who back them up. Once you verify your hero status through ID.me, the perks kick in automatically. You get 2% back on every purchase, free trailer rentals and same-day delivery twice a quarter. You also get 5% off coupons every quarter, and special discounts on hero holidays like Veterans Day and 4th of July. I see those heroes in Tractor Supply all the time, loading feed, fixing gear, and just getting the job done. And I just love knowing that this program gives something back to them. So if you or someone you love is a hometown hero, go head on over to tractorsupply.com/hometownheroes and get signed up today. Because out here, we look after the people who look after us. Again, that's tractorsupply.com/hometownheroes.
Yep. So it's been neat. I've had people that have had cancer, people that their kids have had cancer, people that have been about accidents have just written me and said, hey, I put your sign on my door. Just want to say thank
Bro,
you.
you know how freaking motivating you are?
Blessed.
For team guys and for civilians alike. I mean, I steal your stuff all the time. I get online, look at you, listen to you talk, man. We were talking about that earlier.
I say it all the time. He learned that from me.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the fact that you've grown up to a world-renowned speaker, it's one of the best ones in our country.
Well,
From being shot in the face, laying dead there in Iraq, man.
Well, you know, and how did that happen? I mean, that's an interesting story. And I think it goes to us, who we are, that we always want to push and test ourselves. So how I ended up participating in that competition was I'd had a lot of people say to me, hey, man, you're one of the best speakers I've ever heard. Have you ever heard about this event called the Great American Speak Off? And run by Grant Cardone, and it kind of like the American Idol of speaking. And I looked at it, and I mean, I didn't necessarily need to do it. Sometimes if you're already successful, it's easy to say, well, I don't need to do that. I'm already successful. But I was like, you know what, man, everybody says this, so let's put well, I want to put my money where my mouth is, and let's explore. So an interesting process. I mean, a whole bunch of online auditions and then, the in-persons. But yeah, man, finally winning that thing at the MGM Grand, February or March of this year.
How about that?
Amazing.
More than amazing, man.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was cool. And it's opened additional doors.
Had to have. That's what that does.
I just spoke for Life Surge, which is a
They're great.
Christian motivational event.
Awesome.
You and I were talking about this. So that's how it came to be. They were in the audience and saw me, and they were like, "We would love to get this guy for Life Surge." So
They're fun.
they were so.
That's a lot of fun.
Well, you know what? It's amazing when you're around Christians who obviously have a respect and appreciation for the world and a love of Christ and a love of humanity. Like, because you and I have both gone and done events where you're dealing with people who are losing their mind and who act like they're doing you a favor by you being at their event.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how often you guys have experienced that. Mm-hmm. And it was just amazing to be around good people, amazing people, from Ed Milet to Willie and his wife, and John Maxwell, and I met Bethany Hamilton, Soul Surfer. I went, she didn't know who I was. I ran up and gave her a hug, and she's a big girl, like big and tall. Like she's probably 6'3", and this little short midget Navy SEAL runs up and gives her a hug, and she's like, "I don't know who you are." I was like, "It's all right, I'll follow you."
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. We did that, or Marcus did the Life Surge in Hawaii.
I got to go to Hawaii and do it.
Yeah.
Had a blast.
Cool.
It's awesome.
The backstage crew, from the time you walk in the door.
Agreed.
100%, man. I was.
That's a fun event.
Blessed to do that.
And if anybody's looking for a great event, you should go do it. It is amazing. It's amazing the lessons they teach you to be successful in life, and also encouraging you to get closer to God.
Yeah. It's a broad spectrum of speakers, too. You would imagine rolling through there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what else you got going on?
We've made the transition, I think, as veterans, that transition out of the military. And I've kind of had this. First off, I got out of the military and I launched a nonprofit. I mean, I think that became something that many of us do. I know you guys did it too. And I think it's a natural thing. We want to serve. Nonprofits are great. They're also very hard. You learn a lot about running a business to running a nonprofit. But I don't think I ever slowed down to think about, well, hey, now that I'm a civilian, what does the world look like for us? And I'll be honest, I think I wasted a decent amount of time. And I started looking at, well, what's the next level of where I want to go? The things that I want to do for my family, the level of financial freedom I'd like to have when I retire, and when is that going to be? And probably about 5 years after I retired, maybe even a little later, 7 years, I would say, I really started to drill into those details, because all we were doing was speaking, Erica and I. And it was great. It was a good career, and I was running the nonprofit. But I was like, you know what? We should be putting our money to work. And what does the American dream look like for us? And really that started to get into, well, what do I want to accomplish? And these are questions I like to ask veterans now. What do you want to accomplish? What is your American dream? And if you haven't sat down and figured that out yet, you should. Because so many of us, we run through this life after we get out of the military. And if you're not careful, this life goes by so fast. I mean, for me, 5 to 7 years went by in the blink of an eye after I retired. And I was like, man, I don't have a whole lot. I mean, yes, I'm speaking. Yes, I'm doing some good things. But I didn't really have a plan with benchmarks that I wanted to hit along the way. And that really changed. So I said, okay, well, here's the what. This is what I'd like to achieve, a legacy and a greater impact for my family. Then you get into the how. Well, how are you going to do that? And how and why need to be together, because you need to have a good reason. For me, it was about family and it was about impact. So that became Eric and I saying, okay, the one other thing that led us to do this is when COVID happened. As you guys well know, speaking dried up overnight. So suddenly,
quickly,
overnight. Like I had every event I had at the end of March was gone, canceled.
You want to hear something funny? This is irony too, because right before that happened, I go, I got the one job you can't take away. Unless something like that happens.
Unless a global pandemic happens and shut down all events.
Kind of like, okay, God, I get the message.
Humbled.
Yeah.
And thank God, Eric and I didn't really live outside of our means. My retirement pay enabled us to keep our house and everything, but it also taught me like, hey man, like you need to get more diligent and intentional with what you're doing. So we started building things back up, and we started short-term real estate rentals. So we started getting into that. And then I started looking for other businesses. I jokingly tell people DEI. You got to embrace DEI, and that is you got to diversify your income streams. You need to look for business that have equity in an exit, and you need to look for ways to increase your income and then reinvest that back. And that's really what we started to do. So I got involved in a whiskey seltzer company, which is growing. It's the alcohol industry is a very difficult industry. So learning and navigating that led Eric and I to buy a commercial building, which we turned into co-working office space and an event center. And that is growing and doing really well. And then that led me to find TurboVets. And TurboVets is a new AI-driven automation and integration platform designed to bring all service member and veteran benefits all together under one system to integrate all these disparate systems that all of us as service members and veterans and spouses pull our hair out trying to navigate these systems. And I'll be honest, when the owner first came to me, Joe Loomis, and said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring all this together. I'll be honest, I laughed at him. And I was like, that's such a bold statement. Like, you might as well come to me and say, I'm Harry Potter, and would you like to ride my unicorn? And but as I started learning more about him and got deeper, he had done the very similar thing in the cybersecurity world. Mm-hmm. He had pulled together over 700 different platforms and unified them across cyber on the DOD and government side of the house, all understanding these complicated systems while maintaining
that dude showed
security.
Up, had a unicorn.
He showed up. He was Harry Potter on the unicorn.
And some bitch had a unicorn.
Yeah. And when I saw that, and I saw how difficult it is to navigate this system, I was like, I went to Eric and I said, I know this isn't what we're looking for. I said, I know that right now this is probably the worst time ever because you and I just launched this brand new business that's consuming us. But I said, I don't feel like I can pass this up. I feel like where I am now, God has put me in a place with my name and connections, and I think I can really help propel this.
Sure.
And her and I talked and prayed, and we agreed. So last summer I joined the company, and we've been on a great trajectory since. We're under contract with the Coast Guard, strong interest from the other branches. The VA is very interested, and the nonprofit world's interested, and we're building this out. Obviously, I reached out to good friends and amazing people like yourselves who saw the vision also and have joined as advisors. So we have an amazing advisory group of very notable veterans and guys out there.
Good for you, man, making this happen. So how can people find this?
Yeah, is it available for people to sign up right now?
They can sign up. So if they go to the TurboVets website, which we are updating as we speak, we were a little vague about the journey in the beginning. We didn't want to put all our cards on the table because there's such AI is moving at a very accelerated pace, so we didn't want to tip our hand, but you can go to the turbovets.com, you can sign up, and when we go live in early 26, they will be able to sign up for the system. So there'll be the veteran side, we have the recruit side, we'll have the electronic service member side, those obviously happening on the government side.
It has all the information they can look up, answer questions or anything like that?
Yeah, some of that new updated site is coming. Right now, it gives them a broad overview of who we are and what we're doing, and just because we're moving towards launch.
Now, is there an automated system people can call in to ask questions, or it's just still the broad stuff till 26?
It's still broad. They can send us in questions, and we're answering those. We're monitoring that.
All right.
But come 26, once we launch, the system will be live. We gave you guys a demonstration of it.
Yeah.
We're excited. It is amazing. The tech, I call the tech team 6. They really are. I mean, mind blowing.
I bet they love that.
Oh, and I'm the dumbest guy there when they start getting into what they can do. And what's amazing, it is very similar to a high-level special operations team. And I think this is one of the things that separates us from many other companies that are out there. No different than we have special operations elite teams understand that when you work together with people for a period of time, you go through a workup and even combat, you start to get to where you can see the silhouette of a dude and know who he is.
Wow.
You know what his strengths and weaknesses are. And all that plays together when we do mission planning and everything that we do. Well, it's the same for them. They know exactly how you build tech and how you build tech, and they're able to blend it all together so it works seamlessly right out of the gates. And it's really impressive to watch because it enables us to build stuff at a super fast pace.
So the demographic is for any veteran or veteran spouse.
That's right.
Of any age.
Yes.
Even for Vietnam.
It is. And it's especially for our older veterans, although many of them I know are not big fans of technology. So we have ways to work around. We actually have the ability to scale the system up or down. So for our newer, as far as ease of use, if you will, for individuals who grew up, so for our younger generation of veterans, maybe they served 4 to 8 years, but they're only in their late 20s. They've grown up with technology. So it almost looks like a gaming system to them. It's super high speed and they'll be able to navigate it with ease. Some of our older veterans would look at that and be like, oh my God, that's overwhelming. But we're able to scale that down for them. We also have the ability, one of our big goals is to connect them with accredited veteran service officers from across the country. So they can connect immediately when they sign up and say, I want to connect with a veteran service officer. That VSO, we've partnered with the National Veteran Service Officers Organizations. We're building big partnerships. We've partnered with the American Legion, strong interest from VFW, strong interest from DAV, and they're interested in partnering with us because they recognize this is the next evolution of how we take care of our veterans. And their VSOs, the veteran service officers, will have the ability to walk our older veterans and get them into the system. And we need them in the system. Even if many of them are like, hey, I don't need those benefits. Someday you will. Someday you are going to need them because you're getting older. And not only that, you earn them. That is the thing. We want to make sure it's our mission that every veteran out there, from our amazing Korean, Vietnam, to our modern day veterans, we want to make sure that you get every benefit you've earned.
And you can sign up as a spouse. You just need your, like, say, for me, if I want to sign up, I just need his permission. He signs off saying that I can get his information, and then I'm able to navigate through it and see what resources are available to us as a family, to him, to me, to the kids, whatever.
Yeah. So imagine, if you will, and even let's just say that Marcus was being stubborn, like we're all stubborn at times. I could do it too and say, no, I don't want to do that. A VSO could help, because a VSO could verify my service, Marcus's service, a spouse's service, and they can create that profile. Now, ultimately, the service member will need to claim it before it can go fully active. Mm-hmm. But we can start the process with the help of a VSO. Once that service member claims it, he's now able to authorize spouse and the children to have sub-accounts. Once that information is populated, we're able to pull and automate that information to be able to let spouses and children know, hey, these are the benefits that your dad earned for you: education benefits, healthcare benefits. We're moving into state benefits, and we're even our goal is to pull in all nonprofits into the system and be able to match you based on your service and what they provide.
That's amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It really, there's a reason why I wasn't looking for this. Like I said, the timing was not right for us, but I feel like this will revolutionize how we take care of our veterans. And a secondary goal of mine, I was telling you, I think every veteran, how do we help them achieve their American dream? That I was talking about. Maybe for you, it's a cabin out in Montana. I hope you'll get back involved in the community, because I think our veterans being leaders, whether you're starting your own business or you're a leader in a business, we need you. This country needs you. We're a little disjointed right now and a little divided right now. And I think our veterans are the answer. We've learned how to work with people from, all different sides. And if we can give you all the tools to be successful, and now you can set the example and lead to your families and in your communities, I think that can do some tremendous good for our country.
Amen. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna bring your wife back and y'all talk about your book.
Yeah, Eric and I released Mission Invincible Marriage, and it's been pretty neat. We actually at one of these veteran service officer events, I had a guy come up to me and say, "Your book saved our marriage."
Aw.
So she is the better part of this team, anyways. So we'd love to come back and talk about that.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you guys for having me.
God
Yeah.
bless you, brother.
Yeah,
Good
you
job.
guys too. Thank you.
This is the Team Never Quit podcast. So buckle up, Buttercup.